we saw here that Trump picked. Now Lutkin's a guy that I kind of touched on before. Lutkin, he basically is the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, or he's the chairman CEO of it. He's been in that company for a long, long time. This dude is ultimate deep state, bad news, bad banker, corrupt business. I mean, I could go on and on. How Trump got hooked up with him, I don't know. He was co-chair of his transition team. He helped get a lot of people in place. He was floating his name for secretary of the Treasury, which I think this is an actual worse position for us. So he put him in as the commerce secretary. I think it's worse on multiple avenues because Lutnick, I think he wanted the Treasury, but ultimately this is going to be massively to his benefit. So I want you to look down here at the bottom of this, and I can't, this is a picture, so I can't highlight it, but it says, he's co-chair of the Trump Vance transition team. He has created the most sophisticated process and system to assist us in creating the greatest administration we've ever seen. Okay. So they're not telling you what his process is. They're not telling you what his sophistication is. This guy goes way, way back in multiple avenues. But what I want to hit on is what's happening over the last 7-8 years with cryptocurrency, surveillance, digital ID, the whole 9 yards, global. We talk about one world government, one world religion, one world currency. This guy will be at the heartbeat of all of it. And he's in a position to where now he affects all these trade deals. Okay. That the commerce, that's kind of what they do. They promote the United States. They do all these trade deals. He's going to be working on the tariffs and all that. So he's going to have an avenue to literally just be the middleman between all these third world countries and the United States dollar, or the new system, that he's developed in one way or another. So he's tied in, Lutkin himself, he's tied in with so when it comes to cryptocurrency, and I kind of hit on this just a little bit, Jenny, back when I did the crypto podcast, but there's two types. There's a type that's completely decentralized, which there's no human that issues it. There's no human that controls it. There's no business. There's no government that can do anything to it. It's completely independent of all that. That's like your Bitcoin. Bitcoin is completely decentralized. It's run on tens of thousands of computers, probably hundreds of thousands of computers all over the world. A government can't issue it, can't control it, can't do anything, can't steal it. They can't do anything to it. Now you take a guy like Lutnick here, who he and Cantor Fitzgerald, his company, they literally, he's been in bed with a stable coin called Tether. So Tether is just a pegged $1-to-$1 cryptocurrency. So basically, if I deposit $1, they give me $1, a token, basically a digital token called, $1. So this guy is in, and I'll just bring up Tether here. So Tether itself has a trading volume. Okay. So think about this, Jenny. It has a trade, because you probably never really heard of this. You're like, how is this even happening? Who's even using this? If you look right up here in this top, and I probably need to make that just a little bit bigger, but where my mouse is, that's $148 billion traded in 24 hours. Okay?
Oh my Lord.
This thing is huge. It's absolutely huge. They're using it. It's not mainstream here in the United States, even though it is based on the US dollar. It's used all over the world. It's used in all these third world countries. Like, for example, in Argentina, they use Tether more than they use their own currency because their own currency is so unstable.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where a guy like this is going to come in. Now, Lutnick himself at Cantor, they literally custody like 80-90 billion dollars of this so-called, they say they do, 80 or 90 billion dollars of Tether is custodied at Cantor. So, and he's been a partner in Tether from the beginning with Brock Pierce, who basically created it. Brock is the ultimate bad guy. You want to talk about like Epstein, all the sex stuff. This dude is involved in all of it. He's the inventor of this, or one of the creators. Here's the problem. So we talk about one world currency and all this stuff. You have, and everybody uses the CBDC, the central bank digital currency. That's where they're focusing. That's where they're looking. That's where they're putting all the attention as that's the ultimate bad boy in the room. Well, that's not the problem. The problem is a company like Tether, who's already in bed with the government. Okay. Tether is in bed with the CIA, the FBI, and the CIA is pretty open about their relationship with Tether.
Wow.
They literally, Tether themselves can go right in. Let's say if I had a wallet, on my phone, I'm paying for groceries or whatever, buying something, with Tether, which I can do now. I mean, I can even do it now if I want to. Tether can come right in. They can seize my wallet. They can shut it down. They can take my stuff. They can completely turn me off if they want to.
Does what it says it does. It has one-to-one. It's onboarded with 150 law enforcement agencies around the world. Why do I know that? Because when we formed our relationship with them, we helped them onboard those institutions. We helped them do it. As you all know, every transaction on the blockchain is traceable, and Tether will seize any amount of coin that is involved in illicit activity. They will be caught. So whoever said things about Tether, they're knowingly false. They know it's wrong, and it needs to go away.
Another issue with Lutnick is he is one of the board members, or he's a super high up position in this company called Stratalogic. Okay. Stratalogic literally can, and this goes back to that statement in the beginning with Cantor or with Trump about their sophisticated processes. This guy Lutnick has been at the forefront of ESG from the beginning. They have huge funds dedicated to ESG. Now, they changed the name to like carbon finance or, climate finance and all the buzzwords, we talk about with Julianne. So they're not slowing this down in any capacity. This guy's going to be able to go in and do whatever he wants. So he's on the board of Stratalogic. Stratalogic here. Okay. So they've got $30 million of investments in Tether alone. Stratalogic does. Well, when you look at Stratalogic, and I think I had another
Satellogic.
Satellogic. So like satellites, what they do is all in this is a company that's, I think they're in Argentina maybe, but they're a Latin American company.
Okay.
They have satellites that literally monitor all of the carbon footprint in South America. Literally, that's what they do. So they can see where it is, where it's going, this, that, whatever, figure out how to tax it, figure out who's using, who's not using.
Wow.
Satellite surveillance. So when it comes to that, it's this guy's on the board. It's partnered with Tether. They're going down a huge rabbit hole of control, because when you're talking about this, you're talking about like the biometric wallet and control. I mean, this is just ultimate bad news, because ultimately here's what they're going to do. And I can bring up one of these funds that let me look here quick. Let me see where I have it. Okay, so there's Cantor's ESG conference that they had. This is pretty interesting.
And then back it up. Look at all the solar panels.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Oh, my God, that's horrifying.
Yeah. So this was Cantor's ESG conference. So I just want you to look at some of so they had 30 different technology companies presenting at this. So imagine how many people were there. But you're talking, AI software, cybersecurity, tech hardware, sustainability, EV and EV charging, lithium batteries, transportation. That's all lumped in.
Yeah.
That's all lumped into all this ESG stuff that is all basically run in one way or another by Lutnick. And then they've got this sustainable infrastructure fund. Okay. So this is their ESG fund. And I actually had the ticker up on that, and you could just see how it's just completely skyrocketed. Over the past year.
Lutnick's been. So Heather asked a question though, and this is a fair question, Michael. So what do we do? I mean, none of us can see how anything would have been better under Harris.
Oh yeah.
So what do we do?
Well, I mean, this is.
I mean, because Trump has made some boneheaded decisions, like bringing in what's her name from North Dakota?
Noam. Christy Nome.
Yeah, Nome. I mean, nobody likes the woman. I mean, she's not even likable, and she doesn't. I mean, it's like, why would you bring that in? She's allowed all this carbon capture crap to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I mean, why is she in there? So, what are we going to do? I mean, Heather's
well,
question
we just
is a good question.
yeah. So yeah, obviously it'd be worse under Harris. There's no doubt about that, or at least maybe we think it would be. I mean, that's the whole thing. We can't be on this MAGA high that all this stuff's just going to be great. Because let me show you something else. So and I'll just say, I think the only thing we can do is just try to expose these people, because if you know about it, then you can say, hey, I don't like this guy. I'll talk to my rep. I'll email my senator. This dude is bad news. Look at all the. I mean, what else can we do? I mean, this is high finance. This is that global cabal banking system that is going to keep their hands in everything, because they can't afford to lose control and power. But I want to show you this.
Wait, hold on one second. And to that point, he still has to be confirmed by the Senate, Heather. And we could literally tweet him and tweet out, or, comment out about this kind of stuff. Talk to our senators about that, our senators in DC, because they have to confirm him. And if there are red flags going up among the constituency, then they may have a chance to, realign that. I don't know, but I think that's about all we can do.
Yeah. Well, I want to show you this here real quick. So this is part of that Satellogic deal. And this is an article written by Mark Goodwin and Whitney Webb, which I love Whitney. She's awesome. She does deep dives into this kind of stuff. But this is, debt from debt, not just death, debt from above with this carbon credit coup. So you go down here, and she's talking about Green Plus, and Green Plus is basically that whole South American, push to carbonize or decarbonize everything and control. And I want to say one more thing about that here after I show you this. So, but here's the Green Plus program. So I want to show you down here what I've highlighted, with the founding members of Stratologic. Okay, so it was in Argentina. And you've heard me talk about Peter Thiel several times. Peter Thiel is the worst of the worst. This dude is not a capitalist. He's not a conservative. PayPal. He's not on our side.
They need to know.
Yeah.
Peter Thiel created PayPal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he created PayPal. He's been on this digital forefront with guys like Lutnick for a long time.
Because we have to remind people, PayPal is currency-less payment, right?
Yeah.
So there's no
hard backing to anything.
Correct.
But what I want to tell you towards the end of this is how they're actually going to implement this strategy. So Stratologic here is they're closely aligned with Peter Thiel and his Palantir. So his Palantir company is just massive. They're just a massive, just huge lurch on the world almost, but also with SpaceX and Elon. So they're all in bed together. All these guys are in bed together. No matter how much we try to say, oh, they're going to do great, they're going to cut all this, they're all behind the scenes. They're all in bed together, and it's just something else. But here's what's going to happen is, so they need to, and I shared this in the crypto video. So what they want to do ultimately, Jenny, is they want to tokenize all of the assets of the world. So, like your house is already somewhat tokenized, but it's just not digital. So you have a title, to your house. You have an abstract. You have a title to your car, and, all these things. So your property, you have, like a physical piece of paper in one way or another that says you own it. It's under your possession. You have like a Carfax that shows, all the different things that have happened to your car. Right. So they want to do that on a grand scale. So part of like the whole Stratologic deal and this Green Plus deal is they want to tokenize the remaining assets of the world. So for example, like Stratologic literally talks about tokenizing the Amazon rainforest.
Oh, geez.
They want to say, here's the asset of the Amazon rainforest. Now we can tokenize it. We can trade it. We can control what's going on behind the scenes. So that's how this whole thing's going to roll out, and I'll tell you how and why they got to do that, because our debt is so bad. We have so much debt. I mean, we have trillions and trillions and trillions. if not like quadrillions in debt. They have to be able to put that somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So if they can create, okay, this is how all the banking, Wall Street, all this stuff works. If they can create a new asset class, now they can move all of that into this new class. So when you're looking at like tokenizing the rainforest and all these, just everything, when you're looking at, you're literally talking about 5xing all of the assets of the world right now. When you tokenize it, now you've created a new asset class that's 5 times bigger than all the assets of the world, which is literally it's just digital. There's nothing real behind it, because they don't want to back the dollar with something like gold or whatever. They want the dual banking system to where you have the Federal Reserve, private bank printing fake money and giving it to Wall Street to buy assets. This is an asset, this is an asset transfer. We hear, transferring wealth from, the greatest wealth transfer, like COVID was a wealth transfer where literally, like if you go really into the whole bailout program or bailout, the whole cash injection program of COVID, that whole thing was developed by BlackRock a year before, and it was called like going direct. So the year before COVID even happened, BlackRock had already put into place a process for the Federal Reserve, which is who we pay interest to. They print our money, we pay interest. They already put in an entire system to just take money straight from the Federal Reserve and put it straight into Wall Street. That's what they did. That's what they did during COVID. That's how Wall Street got so much money. It didn't go through Congress. We didn't get to vote on that. They did it on purpose because it was already set up. Well, this is the exact same thing. They're going to take a guy like Lutnick. He's going to basically put all these third world countries under his thumb, but with the trade deals and everything else, because it's all going to go through him. He's going to say, hey, I want you to put Tether in as an actual payment system in your country. I want you to take that, as an official currency, as official, money payment system. Yeah. So, and they're going to do it. And this guy, he's just bad news. I'm telling you, he's bad news for us, for the little people. This is like jumping for joy for Wall Street, for these, huge multinational countries and companies and people like that. But this guy's bad news. I hope Trump gets wind of it. But, Trump is now, he's got his own digital. He's coming out with the stable coin himself. He's coming out with he's going to buy his Trump media company is going to buy a crypto exchange called BACT, BAKKT. So Trump himself knows and understands one thing, which is money. And he knows how much money is coming in that entire side, but he doesn't understand the surveillance side, the control side, the shutdown side, the oppression of freedom side. He just thinks, hey, I got a coin, all these people. He's thinking of it just like it's a stock. Okay. Right. A stock can't control you. If you own Coca-Cola stock, they can't come into your wallet and shut you down. Okay. Yeah. Tether and all these other deals, this digital rollout that they're going to bring in over the next 4 or 5 years, and this tokenization of everything, that is 100% control. And we've done those podcasts with Julianne, but this is to the next level. I'm telling you, this is what's coming. They're going to tokenize everything, put it on these blockchains, or a blockchain like this this blockchain is not like Bitcoin. This blockchain is controlled by a couple people. It's 100% programmable. It's controllable. They can increase the supply. They can decrease the supply. Plus, Tether, Jenny, has never been audited. So they say they have all this money. So they say they've got all these millions, 80, 90, 100 billion dollars worth of US dollars sitting somewhere in a bank account. It'd be pretty easy to show that. But I'm telling you, it's not there. It's not there. But
global debt is a Ponzi scheme. Getting money back to free market capitalism is the goal. Legal tender laws have created the Ponzi scheme. Gold is money. Commodities are money. That sounds like, is that you, Michael, just commenting from a different name?
Yeah, there we go. Well, it's basic common sense, but here we go. If you have gold-backed money, now you lose the ability to massively inflate it. Okay. But you got to remember, people, a bank's really their only product is inflation. That's how they make money, by issuing more of it. Okay. That's like the central bank. They don't have any, the Federal Reserve, they don't have any product other than inflation. They want to increase the money supply as much as possible. You know why? Because when we all crash and burn, who owns all the assets? They do. They're printing fake money to buy assets. That's what's happening. And this guy is going to massively increase it, because also, I forgot to tell you, Jenny, Lutnick and Cantor, they literally, at one time, they settled 70% of all the treasuries that were sold, settled through Cantor. So if you bought a T-bill, if you bought a 2-year or 10-year T-bill or something, it settled through Cantor. So that's just another, it's just another boogeyman in the back. They want to sell treasuries with, fake dollars to all the people in the world, because if the inflation goes so high, guess what? You can't afford to live anymore. You're going to have to sell your assets. And guess who's there to buy it all? Right. They're going to buy it all.
But that's the 2-level system that they're trying to work out for us, the haves and have-nots, which is communism, right? We've got the bourgeoisie and the scabs.
I never believed, that we would be able to have a single world currency, or, I just, even as much as I went down those rabbit holes in the past, I just could never get to the point to where I could see, one world government, a single currency, single delivery system. But I'm telling you, I can see it now. It's so easy.
Where is your Alex Jones is right t-shirt?
It's so easy to just see. I mean, because if you force these countries to literally do business under this US dollar hegemony type of token here, because it's not going away. As long as the Federal Reserve is in play and they can just literally give money to Wall Street, it's not going away. And that's what's happening, is you've got behind the scenes, outside of the scope of government, outside of Congress, outside of, we the people, these people are issuing huge amounts of money, and they're just they're just making the value of our dollar literally just go like this.
Well, again, but it goes back to what Heather said earlier. I don't know what we do about it. I mean, now full stop. God told us to start this podcast because my people perish for lack of knowledge. So I definitely believe that education is the beginning. I mean, that's the bottom. That's where we need to be, is educating people. And we're doing what we've been asked to do, which is educate people.
Yeah.
But then after people understand, I think the best thing to do is although probably 6 of them out of 180 something representatives and senators in our state capitol would tell you this. There is a 10th Amendment, and Oklahoma is a sovereign state, whether they like to believe it or not, because of federal dollars. So I think the thing that we have to do is, when we learn something, when we have experts like Chad or Julianne come on and talk about these things, or Mary from Visit come on and talk about these things, we've got to be sharing these with the people we elect to try to help mitigate this and increase our liberty, right? I don't see that there's any other way to do it. So Heather, if you really want to know what to do, I say take the little clips that we make out, or just take the URL from one of the podcasts and send it to your senator and or representative with a note saying, we've got to stop this. Do you know what's going on? Are you familiar with this? I don't think there's we don't have much. Margie has it. Bible is right t-shirt. Because it's true. Everything. Didn't Solomon say there is nothing new under the sun? Maybe that t-shirt.
Yeah.
There's nothing new under the sun, Solomon.
Well, we may have an economic crash, and a lot of these people are saying, the dollar is going to go away. I'm telling you, the dollar is going to be stronger than it ever has. And here's something that you got to think about. Like, inflation's continuing to go up. the strength of the dollar is continuing to go up and the 10-year treasury is continuing to go up. Those are opposite. As the dollar goes up, the other one should go down.
Okay.
So when you look at that, you can just see that it's just completely unfundamental. I mean, there's no fundamentals in it.
Yeah.
And another thing about Lutnick, I just thought of, he's a massive, massive, massive proponent of the UN sustainable development goals. Massive proponent.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. He's all over the UN sustainable development deal, all over it. And I think they have a fund at Cantor that is specifically.
Oh, I know they do. Not someplace in the carbon capture stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do. You're 100% right on that.
So
not even a think.
So what do we do? I mean, at least if we know, maybe, but I would just.
Well, I mean, knowledge in itself is power. Ignorance is. You can always be fooled. The ignorant can always be fooled. So, there's definitely no argument that just learning this in and of itself is the first start. But again, I don't think there's any way to stop it if we don't communicate what we're learning here with our friends, our family, our representatives, our senators. I mean, we haven't had any likes or anything in a while on our YouTube and Rumble channels, and Rumble keeps screwing us over. I'm going to actually call them today. What they're doing to us now, well, and I see what you're saying. But
wait.
But I'm going to argue a little bit, Jules. The beginning, I mean, you have to have some kind of knowledge about something to even apply that power. So, I mean, I don't know. But
Jenny, I'm going to say something since you're talking about Rumble. Here's another little factoid that you're going to love. Do you know who helped facilitate and took Rumble public?
No.
Your boy Lutnick. He did the IPO for Rumble. Not that matters. Not that matters at all. But I'm just saying. It's a small world. As you go up, it's a very, very small world.
Oh, yeah. No, it's the 5 people with all the billions of dollars, including Oprah.